More broadband awards from the Capital Projects Fund. Texas looks to create a $5 billion state broadband infrastructure fund. Thousands gather in Music City for NRECA's TechAdvantage. And just how far will some folks go to build a data center? Those stories and more on This Week in the Broadband Universe. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Craig Corbin. Officials in South Carolina have announced plans to use all of the $185 million Capital Projects Fund award from the U.S. Treasury for broadband projects across the Palmetto State. More than 31,000 unserved and underserved homes and businesses will be targeted. Thus far, 34 states have been approved for CPF funding for broadband, totaling about $5 billion for projects that will bring service to more than 1.4 million locations. Two of those 34 states, Florida and Texas, have announced new broadband infrastructure funding. The Florida Department of Economic Opportunity has begun accepting applications in a $247 million funding round. Network operators have until April 14th to apply. Texas has been awarded $363 million for broadband, and also filing window for the second round of the Georgia Capital Projects Fund grant program opens next week. Closes April the 21st. Legislators in Alabama have put forth a bill looking to use $260 million in ARPA funding for broadband deployments. Final passage expected within another week. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey convened a special session of the state legislature to determine how to allocate the latest allotment of ARPA funding. Meanwhile, back in the Lonestar state, House Bill 9 would give voters final say on pouring $5 billion toward broadband improvement. The legislation, which was introduced this week in the Texas House of Representatives, calls for the creation of a state broadband infrastructure fund. The money could be used for broadband mapping efforts and matching funds for federal money provided by the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment, or BEAD, program, among other things. It has been projected that Texas is in line to receive more than $3.6 billion in BEAD funding. Nashville's Music City Center was the venue this week for NRECA's annual TechAdvantage event, a gathering of leaders from regional electric co-ops nationwide. Tuesday's general session featured a former Heisman Trophy winner as the keynote speaker.
To be honest, I think one of the best forms of leadership, just being completely honest, is probably manipulation.
A capacity crowd on hand to hear Tim Tebow, the former Florida Gator and NFL quarterback, deliver an inspirational message on how to become and continue to be a fearless leader. Tebow's address kicked off day 2 of TechAdvantage 2023, always an important and highly anticipated gathering for the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association.
Number one, they look for us all the time, no matter where we are. This is how it is. Our folks have grown. Nashville has brought us a number of record-breaking experience this year. It continues to go up, and the last 6 years, I believe, our numbers have only just risen each time. So TechAdvantage is a growing phenomenon. We love it, and it services our companies the best.
With numerous electric co-ops already playing a huge role in delivering broadband, TechAdvantage provides a golden opportunity to interact with REC leaders, something not lost on Ready.net founder and CEO Jase Wilson.
Yeah, Craig, we're just super thankful to get to hang out with RECs. You know, RECs have been great stewards of public resources for 9 decades now, bringing electricity to folks' homes, millions and millions of homes throughout America. You know, and it's our belief that those energy providers that have done a great job of building out those resources, you know, and making sure that folks have electricity, are perfectly positioned to become information providers, to become broadband providers, right? Whether they want to be a broadband provider themselves or they want to just, you know, build the networks and lease it out to somebody that's already doing broadband providing, like, it's up to them. But these resources that are on the table from the nation's largest ever and possibly last major investment in broadband, we want to make sure that RECs are at the table and they have all the tools they need.
The expo floor featured a seemingly endless variety of exhibitors from electric and communications-related industries.
It's really good to be in person again, and there's nothing quite like face-to-face and hand-to-hand contact, not combat, but contact, and just being able to look someone in the eye and talk about what you do and what you have to offer, what their needs are.
It is a different audience, but at the same time we are helping co-ops build out their fiber networks, like with everything that Vitruvi does on the construction management side.
TechAdvantage 2024 slated to be held in San Antonio March 1st through the 6th. Research by Ampere Analysis forecasts a drop in the average annual spend on video services per household in the U.S. by as much as 8% over the next 4 years. Over that same period, it's expected that consumer demand for subscription video-on-demand services in Western Europe will increase by more than 11%. The average annual bill for video content in the U.S. peaked in 2022 at $1,146. Which streaming app do most consumers check out first after cranking up the smart TV? It's not even close. YouTube, more than twice as many than the next closest competitor, the Roku channel. According to an opt-in panel of 5,000 U.S. households conducted by T-Vision Insights, YouTube was selected first by 24.2% of the respondents. That's nearly 3 times more than third place, Netflix. And finally, data storage and edge processing, certainly vital in the world of communications and broadband. Apparently, there is no limit as to the lengths some people will go to build data centers. Florida-based cloud computing startup Lonestar Data Holdings has raised $5 million to build a series of, drumroll please, lunar data centers. That's right, the company wants to reduce latency and improve bandwidth on the moon's surface. They've actually conducted a successful test on the International Space Station and plan to launch a small data center box to the lunar surface later this year as part of Intuitive Machines' second lunar mission. That's a project receiving funding from NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. Hey, it's just like Jackie Gleason used to say, one of these days, going to the moon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on This Week in the Broadband Universe.